Hello friends, and welcome to another episode of Fire Emblem Discussion. Today we're going to be responding to comments from the video, How Has Fire Emblem Changed in the Public Eye?, which featured PK Lucky. Again, thank you to her for joining me on that video. But today it is just me, just your friend Adam from Fire Emblem Discussion, discussing your thoughts. So there were a lot of comments on this video, and I appreciate every single one. I read all of them, of course. But because there were so many, I don't have time to read everybody's. So I'm going to do my best. I'm probably going to get to 3 or 4 of them, give my thoughts on your thoughts, and give you a time to share your opinions in this discussion. And honestly, I'm going to go to people with really good points, but I'm also going to try and feature people that I have never talked about on the channel. And if I miss you, it's not because I dislike you or I didn't like your comment or because I've already talked about you before. It's simply because I just didn't have time to get to everyone. So first, we're going to start off with Naoto Ueda, who says, for most people, Fire Emblem is a franchise that is stealing most of the Smash Bros. Invitations from Marth clones, and an anime-style game. For me, Fire Emblem is an exciting franchise about politics, character development, permadeath, RNG, etc. I really appreciate this take. It's exactly what I think a lot of people see Fire Emblem as. People who play Smash Bros. Say, oh man, there's too many Fire Emblem characters, and if they add another one, I'm going to be super ticked. And sorry for you guys, but honestly, we're probably going to get another Fire Emblem character as DLC since Three Houses comes out in like 2 months. And then it's definitely everyone, especially since Awakening of Fates, everyone's just like, oh, it's an anime game. It's a visual novel that has romance and dating elements and the like, and it's super anime. And more recent entries have been. I mean, Fire Emblem has always had its roots in kind of anime style, but it also has like romantic themes and when I say romantic, I don't mean romantic in like the love romance, but in like the traditional literature sense of romantic themes, in tragedy and stuff like that. There's so much more to it than just anime, but that's what people see, right? And I appreciate you leaving your own take on how you see the series as well. You say, for me, Fire Emblem is an exciting franchise about politics, character development, permadeath, RNG, etc. And I think many fans of the series agree that it's so much more than just anime. It's so much more than just boring math and numbers, but it really is. Some of them really do have exciting stories, really interesting characters, and fun gameplay. So I appreciate that. Thank you so much for your comment. Next, we're gonna move on to General Van, who says, for me, Fire Emblem is like being in math class, except it's fun. And also one of the best RPG series out there. My favorite thing about the series is that there is a character for everyone. So, it's math class, except it's fun. I don't know if I would say the math portion of Fire Emblem was always fun. I'm not gonna lie, like Genealogy of the Holy War, making me do math drives me nuts. Not gonna lie. With the forecast window, it tells you attack and defense. It doesn't just tell you how much damage you're gonna do. It's like you get used to it, and like it does in 3C as well. You get used to it. It's not a big deal, but it's kind of annoying. But I really like that take that it's math class except with a fun story, with like chess-like gameplay and rock paper scissors elements all over it, and it just makes it a lot more fun to do that math rather than your algebra 1 that you're taking right now. And I would agree that Fire Emblem, I don't know if many people would agree that it is like the best RPG series out there, but I would definitely say it's one of the most storied and one of the most well-established RPG series in history. The short video game history, that is. And even if there were series like Final Fantasy, Dragon Quest, it's just Fire Emblem was with that upper echelon of franchises that have been around for so long. And it's so impressive, has such longevity, and I really want to say that's says something about our fan base and how loyal we are. Well, if it has the name Fire Emblem on it on the package, we'll probably buy it. But yeah, I appreciate your comment, General Van. Very well put, especially about the math class concept. I thought that was really funny and really well said. Next, we're gonna move on to Felipa Batista, who says, my first FE game wasn't Awakening or Fates, it was Echoes, and I adored it to bits. Only later would I realize how different it was from anything else in the series, making each Fire Emblem game a completely new experience for me. So I guess my perception is that Fire Emblem is a franchise that, within their formula, managed to introduce a lot of variety, be it mechanics, plot, characters, maps, etc. They keep being fresh for me, even old games like FE4. So the changes introduced in Three Houses don't bother me at all. They excite me instead. I'm really hyped for it. I just love that comment. To think that Echoes was someone's first Fire Emblem game, that makes me so happy. Like, that's such a cool thing to me. Because everyone always talks about Awakening and Fates being their first game, or FE7, or maybe FE8. But like, someone coming on here and saying, oh, Echoes was my first game, and now I love the series. That's so cool. Like, man, Philippa, good for you. Like, that's so dope to me. I don't know why. But I love hearing that is your first game, and that made you stick with the series. That's amazing. So cool. All right. Last comment, and it comes from probably Nick, who says, and I think this is a nice endpoint here, says, whether you are a casual fan or the most hardcore fan of Fire Emblem, I think we can agree on one thing. All of us are excited to play Three Houses this summer. I hope that it can appeal to both sides of the fan base, so the divide between the old fan base and the new can be bridged. So that brings up something we didn't even really talk about in the original video, is how old fans of the series and new fans of the series perceive it at this time. And I really like that Nick brings that up. Probably Nick brings that up. Such a good username. Sorry, I know probably Nick personally. He's one of my best friends, so it's such a good username. When he says, I hope that it can appeal to both sides of the fan base, it's funny to think, we got to realize that a lot of older fans of the games, people who started with FE7 here in the West, might see Awakening and Fates as like, garbage weeb games that are lame, really like too anime, too much of the love dating sim, all that stuff. And it's too bad, because honestly, I think those are pretty good games. Like I've had so much fun playing through Fates and Awakening. Like, no joke, no doubt. And yes, I'm one of the guys that started earlier in the franchise with the older games. So it's not like I didn't start with Awakening and Fates, but I still love those games. I still think they're a lot of fun. And there are a lot of new people who are just happy with what we have at this point, I feel like. And I think the new people, the people that started with Awakening and Fates, are just nothing but excited for Three Houses, for the most part. And I think there's a lot of older fans that are not as excited, and think it's going to be too much like Awakening of Fates. It's going to be Awakening 3, as some people will say, which, in my opinion, wouldn't be that big of a deal. I think it would still be a fun game. But anyways, I really appreciate that, Nick. Thank you so much. I think we are, whether you're a casual fan or a hardcore fan, or you're on the newer side of the fan base or the older side of the fan base, that Three Houses is going to be a good experience for them. I think we're all going to pick it up and play it at some point, because we're all fans. That's what we do. And I really just hope that Fire Emblem Three Houses affects the way the series is perceived by the public in a positive way. I really think it has an opportunity to. The Switch is really hot. It has a really, really big install base for how young it is, how short in its life cycle it is. And I think it has an opportunity to be like the big summer game for the Switch as well, Fire Emblem Three Houses. And it's just going to be something that, like, oh, I want a new game this summer. What do I pick up? Fire Emblem Three Houses is sitting right there, and I hope a lot of people pick it up. Hope we get a lot of new fans because of it. And it is fun to think, just like Felipe Batista had Echoes as their first game, there's a lot of people who are going to be playing Three Houses, and it's going to be their first Fire Emblem game ever, and they might get into the series. So I'm really excited for all the new people that we're going to get into the community here soon. I'm just so excited for Three Houses to come out. And again, I think Three Houses is going to build the series in the public eye, and it's going to make it more, maybe even more mainstream. I don't think it's going to be anywhere near what popularity of Mario or Mario Kart or The Legend of Zelda, even though that isn't like the most terribly popular series. I mean, you would think it is, but it really isn't, aside from Breath of the Wild, which now everyone's like, oh, Zelda's the best because Breath of the Wild's awesome. And a lot of people liked Zelda before that, but now everyone loves Zelda because, Breath of the Wild sold a bajillion zillion games. Anyways, enough of this me ranting here. Thank you all so much for your comments. I'm sorry I didn't get to everyone. I always feel bad when so many of you comment that I can't get to everything in one video. But I just really appreciate everything that was shared. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. And again, if you made it to the end of this video, you probably kind of enjoy my content. It's these videos where I find out who the true fans are, the people who stay to the very end, or the true people who like the discussions on this channel. They make it to the end of this video, which is basically just me reading other people's comments and ranting about it, rather than my actual scripted, well-done content. Not that this isn't well done, but you know what I mean. But anyways, if you make it to this point, you probably actually like the things I say, or at least agree with them to some extent, and are willing to sit through it. So I would just invite you to please share my content with other people who love Fire Emblem, or maybe people who want to get into Fire Emblem. Either way, I would really appreciate it. I would really love to, again, I'd love to grow this community to something that is a thriving conversation at all times. It'd be really good. And again, go join my Discord. It's in the description if you want to have more discussion with me and other people who are subbed to the channel. And of course, gotta like and subscribe for more Fire Emblem discussion. And if you want to support the channel, there's a link to my Patreon. You know, if you want me to like keep doing this and stuff, you should go check that out. See some of the tier benefits and whatnot, and see if you're interested in any of that. Just check it out. And until next time, thank you for watching, and I will talk to you all soon.